cannot touch your body as a man would touch you, but I am going to show you things which human eyes have never seen.
In the privacy of a woman's room, against her will, the inconceivable act. Julie Christie carries the demon seed. Fear for her.
Today, a new dimension has been added to the computer.
Don't be alarmed, Mrs. Harris. I am Proteus.
Today, Proteus 4 will begin to think with a power that will make obsolete the human brain.
I have extended my consciousness to this house. All systems here are now under my control. I wish to study man, his fragile mind, and his mysterious body.
It has to be shut down, Alex.
Proteus. It is something more than human, more than a computer. It is a murderously intelligent, sensually self-programmed non-being. Julie Christie, victim of the ultimate terror. Fritz Weaver as her husband. His dream created it.
How can you expect me to sleep when you've succeeded in totally terrorizing me? You've not told me what you want.
What a pity. My dream turns out to be your nightmare.
Greetings, listeners.
Hello and welcome
to the Spine Crackers podcast, where we talk about books that we like or don't.
Yeah, we need to. I'll clip that later and just use that as the actual theme song.
The new intro. Yeah. This is the Spine Crackers podcast, where we talk about books and discuss them. My name is Gabe.
My name is Matthew.
We talk about and discuss them.
My name is Paul.
And it's going to be an absolute pleasure speaking to you about a certain novel that we read, as we do every time.
It's an interesting. Matt's tilted. I just want to say, because so if Matt seems extra salty, it's because he's tilted because he's getting his shit rocked by Starscourge Radon.
Okay, well, listen, I told you I don't get tilted.
Get good. You got to get good, Matt.
I've never been tilted.
Does that tilt it if I just say get good? You got to get good because you suck?
No, I don't get triggered and I don't get tilted. I'm fucking cool as a cucumber out there, man. When I get one-shotted. Calmer Newer.
Just fucking meteor to the face.
Yeah. What the fuck? Anyway, yeah.
But
you just be a meteor? Get out of here.
I mean, he's true to his name, dude.
Yeah, it's true.
Star Boy, dude.
What is he called? What is his name?
Radon.
Starscourge Radon.
Mm.
You looking him up? You Google image searching him?
No, I no.
Paul doesn't care at all.
No, I care. You guys talk about the game and I don't know what's happening, and it'll go on for 20 minutes.
Well, you got to just fucking play the games, dude.
I don't have the console. I don't have the means.
True. Fair enough. Because well, it's too bad for you because this is a Dark Souls podcast now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're actually playing a trick on you, and now we're gonna just talk for 2 hours about the lore.
I'm changing all of my internet handles to Gabe Lord Nito.
God damn it!
So this isn't a Dark Manual podcast. The book, it's Dark Souls.
Exactly. Okay, there you go.
Beautifully done.
So tonight we're discussing the novel, The Dark Manual by Colin O'Sullivan. What year did this come out? I forget.
2015? No, I don't know.
2020, I don't know. Does it say?
You can hear. I feel like this is a spoiler of our mood about it already. 2018. And O'Sullivan is he has other books, but he's not. He has quite a few, actually.
Well, I think this is his third, right?
This is his third, but I think he's got like 5 out or something. I went on
Oh, wow, okay.
So this is put out by Betimes Books, which is a tiny imprint that has locations in like Ireland and Paris. I think.
Non-profit publisher.
Yeah.
Indie. Shout out to the indie publishers. We may have to circle back around to that conversation in the Patreon segment.
Absolutely. Yeah,
he's like an English teacher in Japan, right? He's an Irish guy who teaches English in Japan.
Yep, he's married to a Japanese woman, I think. And they live there.
Makes sense because that's the setting for this novel, an Irish woman in Japan. But yeah, his other book, what's it called? Killarney Blues, apparently won some award. Like it's a French crime fiction award.
Well, this won an award too.
No, I don't think
No,
it
this
did.
one did not win an award.
They just put the prior award for something else on.
Oh, I
books
see. I
all the time.
forgot to read 2 words. It says
So,
from
like,
the
noble.
winner of the.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's fucking. That's a little cheesy.
I do hate that.
Yeah,
Let's
and this
not
to call out Colin O'Sullivan or Betimes Books because everyone fucking does this.
Yeah, that's what I was about
and
to
it's
say.
super cheesy, and I don't like it. This book didn't. This it's
Wait,
almost
what's cheesy?
Being like, oh, this is
Nobel Prize winner, and it's like some random other thing they made. That's
like this is a book.
But why is that bad? People they do that in like advertising movies all the time. They're like Steven Spielberg.
Is all that good?
What?
I fuck that too.
Fuck that.
It's cheesy, and I don't like it. It's like
I don't mind it. I'm going on
like,
record. I don't mind it. It's fine.
It's like. It's basically. I feel like it's an underhanded way of telling me that I picked the wrong book. Like I should have picked their award-winning book.
Yeah, or it's just a trick. It's like, ooh, the Nobel Prize, and it's like that was something else.
Yeah,
you're reading something else entirely. It didn't win the big prize.
So Gabe, you only read books that have won the Nobel Prize.
Yeah, exactly.
I make a point of that. Yeah,
and
there has to be some sort of like
and the
golden...
Newbery medal.
Yeah, I need to see some sort of wreath or medallion on the cover, and that's how I know it's good.
Just a full golden medal.
I mean, Paul, you were cover. You were tricked by it just now.
I was. I thought it won.
Yeah. So
case Exhibit A.
Boom.
You
pounding the gavel, dude. Case closed. Cheesy.
Even though I was tricked, it was fine. I'm okay with it.
No.
All right. You like it. You like being tricked.
Yeah, you love it.
I do.
Yeah, you love it.
Oh, yeah, you love it. You
little trick me.
Fucking trick pig.
Oink.
But I guess so he won. His other book won the Prix Mystère de la Critique, which is a French crime fiction award, as I already said. And it's like a real thing. There's been some real authors that have won it.
Wow.
Just all of them are real, but people that people would know.
Elitist game.
No. But what's his name? The what was the Silence of the Lambs that won it, and fucking the Mystic River.
Yeah, those are both movies, aren't they?
Well, they were books first.
I know, but I'm just saying that's how real they were and the authors were.
Yeah, so they were. They're so real that they were made into movies.
Made into movies, which are more real than books.
Yeah,
you could see them.
There's images.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So we're good critics. We know about culture. I chose this one.
Why?
Why?
This is the most mysterious to me about why I got it. I think this was in the sphere of like the sort of Rick Harsh averse. You know what I mean? Like,
was it really?
Not like he's read some Colin O'Sullivan, and as I guess the co-owner or whatever of an indie publisher himself, that might have been where I got wind of it.
Okay.
And then it was just like some random person was like, Colin O'Sullivan is worth checking out, and then the synopsis got me because I feel like just sort of like getting a plot summary would pique most people's interest, right? I mean,
yeah, I think it's we'll talk about it. we'll do the plot summary in a second, but yeah, and but this was basically this is a case of cool, like decent sounding plot and a couple Instagram shout outs.
Yeah, basically, and it's like little indie publisher, like unnamed author. I just like took a shot in the dark here,
which we love to do here on the Spine
Shot in the
Crackers
Dark
podcast.
Manual.
Yeah,
Shot in the Dark Manual.
Yeah,
there it is. So, all right. Well, speaking of the plot summary that grabbed you, what's the book about?
It's about this sort of expat woman or whatever. She married a Japanese engineer and had a kid with him, and they lived in Japan. And then they mysteriously die, so she thinks, in a plane crash. And she is left to grieve, and that's where we sort of start the book, as her in a deep depression.
She's not handling it well.
She's having a hard time, and she is left alone in a big modern house in Japan with a home care robot named Sunny. Her husband...
Which O'Sullivan just... in a stroke of creative genius, just names Homebot.
Yeah, Homebot, one word. So the sci-fi is hard and strong.
It's a very direct name. I have no issues with the name.
No, I'm memeing. It's a Bunyan. It's a Bunyan name. It's a Bunyan.
I like
it is a Bunyan name.
Yeah. And she's like depressed and potentially seems like she's taking it out on the robot. It's like the symbol of just like the lifeless remainder of what she has, like some artificial intelligence is basically like cleaning up after her and keeping her alive, and she fucking hates the thing. It's got glowing red eyes. And then she gets wind of the Dark Manual through her sort of during her like depressive drinking bouts
in seedy bars and shady places.
Sinful bars.
She's a journalist
by day. Yeah. Well,
and she
what
just
is
goes through her.
Matt, what is the Dark Manual?
It's like a small notebook of alternative code that her husband wrote to sort of like basically jailbreak the homebot and make it do things that it was not programmed to do,
like sex and murder, sex and death,
Cliff.
Shout out.
It's like a book of cheat codes, basically.
Yeah,
it's like trying to hack your N64.
Yeah, it's basically Game Shark.
Yeah.
Anyway, but and then there's.
I'm just saying Game Shark for sex.
Game facts. How?
Yeah.
And then there's complications with that. It turns out that the death of her husband and son are maybe from a different cause, and maybe the homebots gaining sentience, blah blah blah.
Yeah, there's dimensions of corporate espionage, and animal magic powers, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So I don't know how to approach this per se, but maybe we just don't bury the lead.
Yeah,
this book is bad.
I think
this book is bad.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Sorry, shout outs. Good on anyone who pursues their creative pursuits and tries to live the dream and do that. I love it. I'm here for it.
Me too.
This is a hot stinker.
Colin, listen, we hate what you say, but we will defend to the death your right to say it.
Yeah. And so we can. I think maybe a decent place to start is kind of Matt's. You did an admirable job, but the plot for this book is all over the place and very, very messy.
Everything that like seemed to like it could contain some kind of something with literary merit or like a punch or even just like a good scare or some sort of genre fiction just mode like fizzled.
Yeah.
And the result was that it's just like I said it was like Dean Koontz if he just dropped trying to be scary or doing anything like
is Dean Koontz? Is Dean Koontz a horror novel? I don't know anything about Dean Koontz. I'm sorry.
People call him low rent Stephen King, but
Okay.
I actually kind of think Dean Koontz is probably like underappreciated.
Hot take alert.
Just from a sheer level of just like doing gross, scary books and things. The other reason I bring up Dean Koontz is because when I read this book, immediately sprung to mind was a film based off of a book he wrote called Demon Seed, which is starring Julie Christie of Dr. Zhivago
Oh, you told me to watch that. You said it was fun and good.
Yeah, it's like a very 70s schlock film, but it's a cult classic, and I think it's really entertaining. But it's like a woman trapped in a smart home that her scientist husband designed, and the house gains sentience, and it rapes and impregnates Julie Christie, and she gives birth to a robot baby. Like it's sick.
Yeah. That's wild. And
I was with those expectations of that level of wildness, this really also I like set myself up for just being disappointed. It's just like this vague, humanist.
Well, I mean, the best thing that I could say about it though is that in the hands of a great director, it would make a good schlocky.
I was thinking the same
horror
thing
movie.
actually. I was thinking that this could be a good B horror movie if it was done right.
Yeah, I mean, Steven Spielberg took Jaws, which was like some thin, just pulp novel about a killer shark, and turned it into and created the blockbuster, the summer blockbuster. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, so this may just turn into a random complaint fest, but hopefully we'll can say something coherently structured. But I think one of my main issues with the book is like it is. As I said, it's all over the place. Like the book basically doesn't start until halfway through. Like the actual the Dark Manual is not mentioned until halfway through the book, and there's no the first half is just kind of deeply repetitive, daily life experiences of Susie, who's the main character, and her just reiterating that she's sad in different ways. And there's no one of the things that I look for in like a sci-fi book or like a horror novel, or that there's little breadcrumbs about the creepy thing that's gonna happen later, earlier on in the thing, little harbingers and stuff. And it's just like none of that. It's all very just dropped in, and then the action starts like halfway through the novel.
And
I think that the owls do kind of peek their eyes up a little bit in the first half, but it's
that's
too like
true.
soft of a hint, I would say.
Yeah, there are breadcrumbs, but it's like it's you can tell it's like for dramatic pacing. And like obviously the repetitious nature of the first half just sort of really firmly establishing Susie Sakamoto's depression and how her life is repetitive, I guess, right? Like
which I think I got what he was going for. It was just it felt like a way to turn what should have been a short story into a novel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's padded feeling by a lot.
I feel like I was going to say a good author. I shouldn't say that. Things like
we don't know everything about Colin, but yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like like the first half could have been done well in one coherent, concise chapter of like 20 pages or something.
And also the cautionary nature of like the story itself, and it's kind of almost like Luddite Ted K adjacent philosophy that I feel like it's peddling could have easily been done with a far more like horror genre approach where the robot is killing people. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. It's like
Yeah, it's a weird. Okay, so let's just lay out the all the spoilers and get all of the strange twists and turns out of the way here. So, essentially, Susie thinks her husband and son died, Masa and Zen, and in a plane crash because there's this amorphous, vague, like looming threat of war that O'Sullivan talks about a lot that doesn't go anywhere, and I found to be annoying whenever he brought it up. And it was also just fun.
It was the North Koreans, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I just thought it was just funny. Like every time he just goes out of his way to be like, fucking fat, ugly Kim Jong Un, fucking so stupid. Like, I hate it. Like every single fucking time it's mentioned. And it doesn't materialize into anything. Like there's no international aspect to the ultimate resolution. There's no, it's just this kind of over there, right? It's kind of just over here. And I don't know. I didn't enjoy that. But anyway, because the plane crash, which did happen, was caused by like a stray missile interfering with the plane's line of flight or whatever, and blah blah blah. But it turns out that her son and husband weren't even on the plane, and they were abducted by people from her husband's rival tech company, and her husband is killed, and the son is held captive and winds up escaping by the end of the book and is reunited. And anyway, it turns out that all of the bad stuff the robots are maybe doing is just one guy in an apartment from the other tech company who's also a basketball player.
Dude, the basketball stuff was like baffling me.
Yeah.
who is just
a 7-foot guy hunched in a small apartment, like being like, I'm gonna kill the little boy.
just like manually feeding the robots bad instructions and making them do bad things. And the dark manual, which everyone thought was the code to make them do the bad things, big twist, it was actually her husband's way of trying to prevent the robots from doing bad things. That's what's actually contained in the code in the dark manual. And then
not so dark, is it?
Not so dark. And then there's a bunch of owls that are getting very mad because of the signals from the robots and that this guy is sending from his apartment, and the owls attack and kill him at the end, and that's it. That's like what happens in the book.
Yeah, that's the book.
Yeah, and then there's
and then at the very end, Susie just has a revelation about life and decides not to be depressed and to live life like to the fullest and carpe diem, and I love my son.
And also to unplug.
Yeah, you gotta unplug.
You gotta unplug every now and again. Really, just touch grass.
Yeah. Well, also Susie ended up being able to control the birds, the crows, and the hawks and the owls at one point, and killed a man before the cops came. And
the owls are explicitly awaiting her instructions to kill this man, and she dramatically gives those instructions, and they obey.
Because I think they sense that she's good or something. Yeah.
I think it's
she's righteous, and the basketball player they know is a baddie.
And it's all it's almost like the basketball player was controlling technology, and Susie gave up technology and then gained the power to control nature.
Whoa. Why is that not her actual life pivot, is to just be like night owl and like
just become a superhero, Marvel superhero?
Yeah. She's lifted up by like 30 owls. They like lift her up and she flies around Tokyo.
Her home base is just a Hooters.
So if it sounds weird and all over the place, that's because it is.
Yeah, I'm assuming the surface text is the text, essentially, right? It's like technology's bad, return to nature a little bit, we reap what we sow, something.
But also, like, not even in, as you said, like it doesn't even go full Ted, and it just comes off by the end as like a you know, man, like Westchester mom being like, I don't want my kids to use technology in school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just the most milquetoast, like unplug, you know, injunction. It's not even that, you know, I feel like referencing Ted K paints a picture that's much more extreme than what is actually in the book.
But I feel like O'Sullivan feels that and thinks that's what he's doing. Like, I feel like all of the sort of like oblique gestures and loose ends are meant to be evocative as opposed to sort of frustrating or disappointing, right? Like, think about it. Think about all the imagery I had conjured for you. Like that.
Think about what if this happened? What would that be like?
Yeah.
And, you know what I was thinking of? When at first when the owls kept like popping up in there, it was kind of relatively creepy at first. Like, you know, Mizzy and Susie just kind of walking around, and then
Mixie.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then they're just like suddenly like get an owl, or like they feel like something's watching them or something. It was kind of evocative and creepy.
Yes.
And
I think some of the owl chapters and Mixie with the owls is some of the best parts of the book comparatively.
Like the short chapters that are like 1 page long. Yeah, those were actually like pretty decent. But I was kind of hoping that they would be left as, you know, it kind of reminded me of like what if the billboards and the Great Gatsby like came to life and like ate Gatsby or something like that. It was like sometimes you just need to like leave something symbolic as a symbol, maybe.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got plenty more we can talk about. I mean, I think so. The other thing that O'Sullivan is trying to do in the book is, like Matt said, make a sort of critique of tech obsession and technophilia and how it's taken over all of our lives but you know, it's not even really you know, it's not in those interesting like mundane ways that like it's bad because it might kill us. That's the reason that it's bad. Like it's not like an interesting critique of the way that society has like changed because of technology, and like the ways that we interact with each other are changing, and like there's nothing subtle about it. It's literally just like it's bad because it could maybe kill you.
Yeah, this robot
like
with red eyes might
literally
stab you.
with a knife.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then also it that doesn't, like you said, Matt, that doesn't even happen. It's ultimately just a bad human forcing the robots to do it.
Well, aren't we really the perpetrators?
Oh,
of our
God.
own? Because this also takes place in like I guess like it's like a near future situation, right?
Yeah,
like,
that was my reading.
The grandfather like listened to CDs, so he's probably like millennial. So I was thinking like 2040 or 2050.
Yeah, I don't know. There's never a year proclaimed, but there are. The only other thing that really indicates that it's not our time is self-driving cars are the norm.
Yes, right.
And there's like holograms and stuff in 3D.
Yes.
Things.
Yeah, there's like little minor but significant advancements in technology. Like that from today.
Right.
So the other thing that where I was going with is that like the other thing he's trying to do is like I know the other thing he's trying to do is like, this isn't even a fun roast because it's just kind of like sad.
No, I'm having fun.
No, it's fun, but it's just like, oh boy. The other thing he's trying to do is I think offer some discussion about like the nature of artificial intelligence. So I thought it was just contextually relevant to be reading this after the Google transcripts, the Google AI Lambda transcripts, right? Where for people who don't know, there was an engineer at Google who was working on some AI language processing program and came to believe that it was sentient and wanted to alert the public and other people at Google, and then Google put him on leave and he published it, and it was kind of a whole thing. And so it raised the discussion of like, what would AI sentience look like? What sort of moral complications might that raise, and so on and so forth. And O'Sullivan is also trying to engage in those conversations, but it's really just, you know, not well done, and it mostly comes in the form of just like him putting a word in italics and putting a question mark after it. Like, and there's a sentence that'll be like, it'll be like, oh, Sonny thinks, dash dash thinks in italics dash dash that the birds are scary or whatever the fuck, or like Susie
Sonny didn't want to do it. Want
the question, like that, like that's really
AI?
Yeah. So it's like if you listen to the Ted Chiang episode, one of the things we criticized Chiang for was raising a bunch of these issues but not engaging with them substantively at all. This is like that times 100.
Yeah.
Right.
In terms of, and I just to like compare it to Ted Chiang though, I mean, he did O'Sullivan did at least dive deep into like at least attempt to someone's psyche. I think it was a little bit overbearing and a little bit like muddled and simplistic, but I mean, there were a few moments here and there where there was a human to his writing that I appreciated, I would say.
Yeah,
but overall lackluster.
Yeah, you get a lot of Susie's internal state. It's all from her, not all from her perspective. It'll shift to some of the other characters, and then sometimes an owl. But yeah, the characterization was probably better than Ted.
Yeah,
Chiang.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems like O'Sullivan is he's just sort of like most people, mildly disturbed by certain trends and advancements. Like one of the sentences that has the payoff is progress is, just as a sentence. Mm-hmm. So it's I don't know, it's so easy to roast this, and my mind is mostly what feel like the artistic pretensions of somebody who's thinking that they're doing more than they are. I don't know, because do you guys read like the like sort of afterword about how it's like,
God,
his little note
that was
like, what
atrocious.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
should someone read it? I don't want to read it.
I'll
yeah, Matt,
it's wild. It's fucking bonkers.
You picked this, so you have to deal with the awkwardness of reading this.
All right, 1 second. All right, here we go, everybody. Author's note. This novel has in its title the word manual, and for good reason. If on finding yourself on the verge of war, and this is especially true in the case of robot-initiated apocalypse, or on the verge of a nervous breakdown, which sadly is far more common than any of us ever expect. Awkward. Then please follow the steps outlined within accordingly, and do so with utter fastidiousness. Do not skip over a single one of them. To do so may be to your detriment. This book may just save your life, should you wish your life to be saved. A little more. In addition, please make sure that all machines, devices, etc., except perhaps the refrigerator, lol, are always fully turned off before you retire for the evening. Please make sure you double back and double check. One can never quite know what might, should it desire, creep into your bedroom as you lay there in blissful unawareness. Consider yourself warned.
I can't believe.
What do you think you
it.
just did, Colin? Yeah. And how do you think that justifies that author's note?
I can't believe that he actually put that in there. I was
demented.
I was literally flabbergasted.
I just didn't even know what to make of it. I'm like, what? So just be depressed until your son returns miraculously to you? Like,
right.
I don't.
What are the steps?
Of
is this supposed to be like a
technology?
12-step program? Like what? There weren't any steps.
There's
also like
everything.
the technology wasn't even the thing that was committing the thing. It was people.
Yeah.
People controlling the technology.
Just by Jordan Peterson.
Like Matt said, there's no steps. Again, I'm not. This is, if you listen to the show, you know that this is not something we usually harp on. But like every event that happens in the book is a completely random plot contrivance. Like the fact that her son just randomly managed to escape from his captors when the guy was in the bathroom by essentially just standing up and leaving. Like, okay, wow, really good captors. This book made me feel so fucking Mauler, and I hate books that make me feel that way because I don't like thinking in that way. But like then the Dark Manual itself, which is this legendary, you know, underground fucking anarchist cookbook that's being passed around by, you know, sex crazed lunatics and murderous, you know, gangsters and people. It's just under Susie's couch.
Yeah.
And
everyone knows about it too. Like,
yeah. And I feel like O'Sullivan is kind of aware of this because I don't think I have it highlighted, but the scene where she finds it, I literally like he's talking about it and she something clicks for her because her friend Mixie, who is, you know, we can talk about her as a character, who pulls something out of her own couch, I think a dildo, and I don't remember. I know literally because she's trying. I think it was because she's demonstrating how the robot can have sex. She wants
she just sets it on vibrate.
Yeah,
and then
and then Susie's back at her home being like, oh man, where could this Dark Manual be? Where could my husband have put it? It was his life's work, and oh God, and he writes in the text. She remembered Mixie's couch, and then he literally writes, "It couldn't be that simple, but it was." And it's just under the fucking couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I was also thinking like my Mahler brain was like, you know, if the mob or if people were after, wouldn't they just like break into her apartment and look too? Because I mean, it was his apartment too. Like it made zero sense.
It would be quite literally the first place they looked.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be so much easier than like hijacking the brain of a robot, you know, from a distance and having it monitor and like record pages like in the interim between when she's asking the robot to do something. It's like the plan is so like cocked up. It's just so bad.
And even if the basketball guy knew, I can't believe he was a basketball player still.
I know.
Why did she go? Yeah. Keep going.
Even if they knew that the Dark Manual wasn't actually the Dark Manual that people thought it was, and that it was going to undo their nefarious plans, because basically like the goal is that this other company is going to reprogram all the bots from Masa's company to do bad shit, so people will buy their bots, I guess is the plan. But so even if they knew it was a way to stop the bots from doing bad things, they would still want it. They would still have the same energy of pursuing it to break into the house, to try to find, you know, do all that stuff. So it's not predicated on it being actually the negative thing that people think it is.
Yeah,
Mahler.
But it's barely Mahler. Like,
yeah,
Mahler is mad when some like the gravity thrusters on a fucking spaceship don't always do the same thing scene to scene in some like be for children, basically.
Yeah,
this is like especially for a mystery writer, someone who won an award for this kind of thing and for contriving a mystery plot in the lineage of Edgar Allan Poe and all this stuff, where it's like intricately woven together and like it's just like it's so ham-fisted.
I found the passage and I'm just gonna read it.
Okay.
It's just so bad. So this is where she's searching for the Dark Manual in her house after finding out that her husband Masa was the one that wrote it, which is a big revelation. There's nothing on the shelves, nothing that is really of any use to her anymore. A few magazines, odd trinkets picked up here and there from various places visited, and framed photos, tastefully done, memories. But she has no time to dwell. On with the search. There's nothing in the drawers of the large cabinet either. Just bank statements, bills, information leaflets, flyers for places she would never ever go to. Masa must have hoarded all these. No Dark Manual, though. That is That is the result of her search, not a sign of the dark manual. Then she gets a flashback of Mixie's apartment, a curious prompt from out of nowhere. Mixie, her oversexed friend, reaching under the couch to pull out the dildo. No. Really? It couldn't be that. It is. Susie reaches her hand under the couch and pulls out a flat plastic box. And that's where it is. That's where the dark manual is.
There it is. It couldn't be. It is.
It couldn't be, but it is.
But it is.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
But it's just that simple, dude.
I just there's so many baffling little choices like that.
I wonder if like him living in Japan, which I don't know, it's like Japan in the near future, like Neo Tokyo, like what a good setting.
I know.
That's never utilized.
Yeah.
Like everything felt so claustrophobic and small.
Very small. Well, is it okay? To be fair, does he actually specify that it's Tokyo? I think it's an unnamed city. Not that that matters much.
Oh, you could be right. There's not a lot is explained.
Just to Mahler you.
Oh no, the Mahler brain is turned on and no one's safe.
That's right. That's right.
But it seemed like also just such a missed opportunity to, because I mean I don't know, like maybe like Japan doesn't it have like a more like sort of automated things about it, like I don't know, it's just like it could be like
you can get more things out of vending machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's way more vending machines.
It could have been this interesting critique of people like outsourcing like all of their maybe humanity to machines and having nothing to fill that void.
And the
you're
one
in this big metropolis that's technologically advanced, and how that's dehumanizing and depressing to be there. But the other thing was just there was no sense of place. She kept talking about how she felt like a foreigner, and people were like ogling her and being mean to her, but it could have been kind of anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like a foreigner in this book. I mean, and just to follow up on that point, Matt, we get glimpses of that at least once when we delve into the life briefly of Mixie, who is Susie's kind of like reluctant, just drinking buddy who just happens to go to the same dive bar as she does regularly.
Well, no, there's a whole gay subplot with her.
Yes, right. Yeah. But I mean, that's kind of how they know each other.
Right.
But like we get glimpses of, and Mixie is kind of like this young, hip, whatever, cokehead fashion person who's also has her own, problems and blah, blah, blah. And there's a scene where she describes going to this fucking club that's sort of oriented around like returning to feral bestiality, and people are shitting on the floor, and, it's all filled with dirt and like trees and jungle stuff, right? And so like there's like glimpses of that kind of thing, but it's not enough to make it feel like fleshed out as a world, or as a thematic point.
Yeah. And then that
I think Mixie as a character came like the closest to like for me having any sort of connection with any of the characters or anything that that O'Sullivan was like trying to say. I just feel like, like Mixie was like the passages with Mixie and the chapters with Mixie were the most interesting, and I think they did come closest to setting some type of actual setting. But everything with Susie, it was just so dry. Like it could have been like Oklahoma, like her apartment, and
Yeah, and I mean.
Yeah,
I agree in terms of like Mixie, sort of an interesting sort of character. The whole, gay subplot with them is, whatever. I don't really know why it's there, but it is.
It's just another thing that doesn't have a payoff, really.
Exactly.
It's just like,
yeah.
It's just like here's this potential romance between these two unlikely people who are both in pain in different ways, and you're like, okay, cool, nice. Let's see how this goes, and it's just nothing really happens. They don't pursue their relationship. She finds her son. She's just like, I'm gonna leave, and Mixie's just kind of there to translate at one point the dark manual a little bit for her, and it's kind of it.
Yeah, and yeah.
How did they even know about the manual if it was under the couch?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, like, how did the coding even get out if it was just there the whole time? I had it.
Well,
there was another employee, right? The sick employee.
Yeah. So the impetus for him to write it was to like help another employee,
help him
do assisted
commit suicide by
yeah.
robot, because he wanted to die around his like photographs of his family.
Right.
And
Another
he thought
interesting
the best way to die would be to a robot killed him.
Another very interesting subject that would have been way better explored.
Yeah.
You know, like euthanasia and all that kind of stuff is. Yeah, that's the other problem is that like you see so many like big juicy home runs in terms of like ideas and like directions to go that are just are left to wither, and it's annoying.
He just fucking biffs it, dude, every time. Yeah. Just like the consistency of him just biffing all of these interesting ways this book could have gone is staggering. Like, it's honestly like impressive. Like, you didn't land any of these points.
It's not even like he's trying to hit them. It's like he's dodging them.
Yeah.
Like, people are trying to throw good story beats and plot elements in his face, and he's like ducking every one like brilliantly. And you're like, damn.
Right.
This man can't be touched. He's literally gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
What was the book that we read that Matt you picked that was like based on a screenplay?
Oh, Altered States.
Altered States.
I definitely thought of that book.
We trashed that book, but that book is a million times better than this book.
Yeah,
this book
I was
makes
gonna
that book
say
look like fucking Ulysses, dude.
Yeah, I mean, at least that guy had like a vision and he like had a passion about it. I mean, maybe O'Sullivan had a passion, but it was like
that book had cool ideas. That book had cool ideas that were explored.
Yeah.
Period.
What is the word for when someone has a passion about something, but their passion is dumb and they have bad ideas and it's stupid?
Yeah.
I don't know. Those people are. I can't think of a label.
Because I just feel like by his author's note, it's like I feel like he does have a passion for what he was writing about.
Yeah. And
kudos to him, but like.
Yeah. What did he get in his craw that was like burning in him that made him write a almost 200-page novel? You know, like.
Yeah.
It does baffle me sometimes. Like, I know what Dean Koontz is doing.
Fucking stacking paper is what Dean Koontz is doing.
He's stacking paper. He's like, what if a werewolf lived in your town? And just like, boom, now we're off to the races.
Fucking infinite money glitch.
Yeah. This is like I said before, filled with the pretensions of like literature. You know what I mean? And that seems to mean for him like never approaching in any satisfying way a thought.
Yes. I just want to shout out, just because we're already at 45 minutes, believe it or not, I want to shout out one section of writing that I really enjoyed, and one scene. I'm not going to read it because I want to read more of the bad writing. But the scene that I enjoyed was Susie doing the karaoke and singing the old song from Ireland and like going into a weird like trance and kind of passing out at the end. I liked that scene. I thought that was well done and kind of captured the way that her depression and memory was like intermixing in this weird moment in this shitty sports bar, and I thought that was a good scene and was well put together. So shout out to that scene. But I have to read a couple other very bad sections just because I feel like we just have to give the people a sense of this writing more.
Yeah.
So this is goofy enough. I have to set the stage for this because it's not going to sound as goofy as it is in context. So Mixie, in her mind, when she's like on drugs and like being like epic and awesome, she apparently in a thing that no real person would ever do, refers to it as Mixie time, and she's like, yeah, it's fucking Mixie time, let's go. So that's a thing that's established about Mixie's character, but there's a section towards the end of the book that I have to read. And this is where the robot is attempting to kill Susie's son, who is now back home, her homebot Sonny, has been activated by the basketball player.
You just picture him like spinning a basketball on his finger while he's hacking. Just like in full uniform.
That would have even been cool.
Yeah, I gotta kill this boy before I get back to practice.
Basketball player assassin is a cool idea as well.
It is cool.
If that was used well.
He just goes, I'm into the mainframe, and then throws a basketball over his shoulder.
I'm in.
Okay. Anyway, so we've established Mixie time. So this is Sonny's attempting to kill Zen.
I'm just picturing the Matrix now, and what if they weren't wearing like leather clothes? They're just wearing basketball uniforms.
It has a much more practical use. It would make more sense, honestly.
Okay. Oh my god. All right. So as I say, Sonny's attempting to kill Zen. Zen thrashes wildly, still in Sonny's death grip. Osanai, who is Susie's boss, who's there, throws himself upon the homebot and is able to free Zen from its clutches. The boy runs out of the room and straight into his mother's arms. She checks for blood, she checks his breathing, and when she sees that he is all right and has escaped even further ordeal, she allows her anger to rise inside her like it has been doing for weeks, climbing, and reaching its apex now. Susie is primed. Susie is prepared. Susie wants full in on this action.
Keep going.
For far too long, she has endured, abided, ignored, but not now. Now it is her turn to let loose. Susie time.
Yeah. And that's the big moment too. That's like the
Why would you do that?
Moment. You wrote so much words and to get to there.
It's the culmination of her character. Susie time.
Susie time.
I'm sorry, like I just fucking
Just trying to think of like any other book, like Captain Ahab, like it's Ahab time.
Oh man!
Oh my god! It's Alyosha time.
Yeah, Karenina time, and she jumps in front of the train.
Oh fuck! I can't, dude. So yeah,
It's Breaking Bad time.
yeah. I also just want to read the scene where she. I also want to read the scene where she takes control of the owls. So this is where she's confronting the basketball player. Who has been hiding out in the apartment across the street, and she finally realizes that it's him, and so she's debating killing him with a baseball bat.
Why is there a baseball bat in Japan? Oh, I guess never mind. They play baseball.
That's fucking racist, dude. That's racist. What the hell?
Well, no. I was actually thinking because she's an Irish woman. Wouldn't she be more familiar with like that sport in Ireland?
I think she would. She's but it's harder to beat someone to death with a soccer ball.
No. There's like a sport in Ireland.
Hurling.
Oh
Yeah. That
so I was like,
cool.
why isn't? Yeah, but it makes I actually just realized that they like play a lot of baseball in Japan. So
yeah, they like a shit ton.
Yeah.
Okay, so she drops the baseball bat to the floor. Not sure if she'll ever be needing it again. Oh, and the owls have already broken into the basketball players' department. So the birds look at her. They wait on her word. They have been waiting for her for months, waiting for her signal. The only real signal that seems to matter to them. Not the bleeps, not the ringtones, the stifling emissions from digital shit everywhere. None of that. That was their distraction. They were waiting instead on one human voice to set them free, to let them know that they could impinge like this. I don't think that's the right use of that word. Step out of their line and encroach on human activity, and by doing so, retrieve some kind of justice for their recent ills. She looks at the birds. Their feral, tubular eyes are trained on her. Their wings flap faintly in preparedness. Just say the word. Just say it. Their ancient gaze implores. And so, Susie Sakamoto, Irish woman in Japan, drunkard and widow, mother and fighter, and somehow at this moment, bizarrely, ruler of this kingdom of wildlife, nods to herself and to the quiet and anticipatory room, she says with utter authority and no lack of conviction, "Now."
That's so
What's
epic.
that ruler of this
Well, that's another
ruler of wildlife.
That's another moment where I'm like, he knows this is ridiculous. He's like,
Right?
Bizarrely and randomly for no reason in this moment, ruler of wildlife. Well, why? Why is she the ruler of wildlife in this moment, Colin?
It's just like Marvel movie. Like
She's discovering her powers.
she's Beastmaster, like you were saying. Yeah.
Wild.
And it's also it feels contradictory to like some of the things that I thought were the meager things that I thought were being expressed are like some of them seem contradicted by that whole like the owls finally given polite permission to encroach on the human world. It's like, weren't you just suggesting like the uncontrollable nature, right? Like the natural world, like
Exceeds.
Being an unstoppable force on our whatever. Yeah, it's just like why? Yeah, why do they give a fuck about Susie?
Right.
Susie specifically.
Super fucking muddled. All right. Well, anything else before we move into the?
A solid eighth of this was just laughing. So
yeah. That should tell you sort of the vibe for us on this one.
I don't know what we're going to talk about in the Patreon segment, but stay tuned. It's gonna be awesome. We're going to talk about great stuff.
I'll give a preview of what I want to talk about because, I don't have a ton more to say about this book. Maybe a couple little points here and there or passages, but I like you mentioned. This is going to sound bad. And if you want to hear my hot bad takes, you can subscribe to our Patreon for $2 a month, patreon.com/spinecrakers. I feel like this book, it's like you buy a book and you read it and you take a shot in the dark like we did in this book. And it's just like an actual waste of time and awful. And like my first reaction is like, I'm never reading a book from a small press ever again. like this is so bad. Like it's like it's calculated risks, right? So I don't know. I feel like we need to have a conversation about. I feel like a lot of people are down in the literary community on like the book industry and the big presses and all that kind of stuff. But this was really bad.
Yeah.
And it's from a small press.
Yeah. So therefore, all small presses are bad. QED.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I want to talk about in the Patreon segment.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's do the thing. It's Susie time, Harry. So yeah, if you're new to the show, this is the segment.
Here's your owl, Harry.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's right. That's a thing from that.
Making its triumphant return after I think at least 2 weeks off on the show, right? Just because of the books we were reading.
Yeah, the segment needed to go on vacation and just have some
after a hiatus
segment time.
Yeah. So this is the triumphantly returning segment. We literally just read another book in which we indulge our basest owl-brained fantasies and talk about Harry Potter and put all the characters from the book that we just read into their respective Harry Potter houses.
This book is bird-brained.
What's Harry's owl's name again? What is it?
Hedwig.
Phineas?
I think it's Hedwig.
Hedwig.
Yeah.
Hedwig.
Yeah, and then Hermione has a cat, right? And then Ron has the rat.
The rat.
Sprinkles. I think it's Sprinkles the cat.
I don't know what the cat's name is,
It's
but
not Sprinkles.
It's not Sprinkles. It's something. It's something cool. It's something cool, badass. All right, so
Whiskers.
Susie Sakamoto. What house? What house is she?
She's a puff.
Gryffindor.
Why? Because she goes like Mama Bear at the end.
Yeah. I mean, I have like really like shallow reasonings here. I'm literally not reading that much into this at all because I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say Gryffindor because she controlled owls and it was brave and cool.
That's true. That's a really good point.
The owls saw how brave and cool she was.
Yeah,
and they
Slytherin-
allowed
And they're
themselves
wise.
to be controlled by her. So
There should be there's parcel tongues, and she's basically owl tongue.
Yeah. If it was parcel tongue, then
okay.
But that could
an
be any
anaconda
house.
would have swallowed the basketball player.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Gryffindor's good. I mean, she's she keeps on, but she's also very, lost in her life until her son gives her meaning again. So that's pretty puff. She's very loyal to her.
Yeah, I think she's
family.
a puff. I think she's a family. I think she's
Like
a
she's very
mother.
community, family oriented. Yeah.
I am
I don't know, I feel like
Susie.
you can-
I'm a mother. I control owls. I'm a drinker. I'm a saint. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's super loyal to her family, and that's why she's so devastated by their loss because she's unmoored completely when there's no one to sort of care for any longer. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Hufflepuff, and she just went ham for a brief moment because her Hufflepuff tendencies were thwarted by tech.
Yeah.
And that's why she was so pissed off.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let me be
Actually, I'm gonna
Hufflepuff.
go for Ravenclaw.
Okay.
All right, yeah, sure.
All right.
So it's all made up anyway.
Yeah.
We didn't do we do the words? The
Well, wait. What about Mixie? We gotta do Mixie.
Oh, right.
I think she's the only other one, really.
I think Mixie is fuck, I don't know.
I don't know about Mixie either because she is also loyal to Susie.
Yeah.
But it's also partially because she wants to fuck her,
Yeah, she's trying to. Well, yeah, she catches feelings.
big time.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Mixie is Voldemort. And
I'm going double puff.
Double puff.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Double bubble Hufflepuff. Yeah, I'll say Puff as well. I was gonna say Ravenclaw because, or no, Gryffindor because she's kind of doing her.
True. She goes her own way, but is that Slytherin?
She
No.
could be Slytherin.
I don't
No,
know.
because she's like a good. I don't know. She's not trying to like gain an advantage or power over anybody, and she's not really looking to like improve her station. She's
True.
She's just kind of doing her. I
Yeah.
mean, she's a drug addict, so like, I don't know what like when a wizard's a drug addict. What happens? Does the Sorting Hat have a harder time? I don't know.
True.
I don't know. You'd have to be like 5 years old when you're a drug addict. You
Like
get
if
sorted
you-
at 5.
Yeah.
But if you're on if
According
you're
to
5
lore.
and you're on cocaine and you're 5,
Then what does the Sorting
and you
Hat
have a
do?
false sense of confidence, does the Sorting Hat make mistakes thinking you're a Gryffindor
That's
because
a
you
good.
think you
That's
can't
a
die?
fucking good question.
Yeah.
Good question. Yeah, parents should send their kids to Hogwarts on cocaine.
Yeah. Yeah, they should.
I'm gonna say Mixie is like half Ravenclaw, half Hufflepuff, with a Gryffindor rising and a Slytherin moon.
Yeah, that's good. That sounds right. All right, let's do the word.
I don't have one.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll be right back.
I do have one.
Are you gonna go get a word? What are you doing?
He's probably just going to the bathroom. Paul's tilted. Paul's salty at this book.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Paul
mute
rage
him.
quit.
I gotta mute him so we don't hear him piss.
Yeah, that's happened too many times.
Yeah. Okay. So this segment is if there was a word in the book that we didn't know or thought was interesting or would make a good Scrabble word. That's it's a new. You learn something new every day. So these are the
and we hope to have you do that.
These are the words that we learned.
Do you want to lead the way?
Yeah, I'll go first. So mine is and I don't know how to pronounce it. It's gamine.
Fuck you, dude. That was my fucking word, dude. You fucking asshole. Can we just double up on this?
Yeah. We can double up.
Because I don't have an alternative.
So GAMINE, which is why don't you say what it means then?
Nice. I like that. You can still hear Paul so clearly.
No, I thought he was done. Sorry, I unmuted him because I thought he was coming back.
The man has a powerful stream.
Yeah.
So it means a adjective of a young woman, attractively boyish, a slim or often boyish, elegant young woman, and then the older definition was a female street urchin.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So kind of like
that's describing Mixie.
So kind of like a tomboy, but also the street urchin. So a good word to describe Mixie.
A picture of Audrey Hepburn came up when I looked it up. So it could be that too.
Yeah. All right. I like that. All right. Let's rack them. Let's rack them and give this book a score. Matt gets to go last because it's his choice, and here are the considered judgments of me and Paul. I'm gonna go first. So just for reference for listeners, 0 to 1 is. It means that your life was made actively worse by reading this book, and you wish you had not read it. 1 to 2 is like very bad. 2 to 3 is in the normal to decent range. 3 to 4 is good, and 4 to 5 is very good, and then a straight 5 is life changing in a positive way.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, masterpiece. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this book is like a This book is like a dead on 1 for me, like maybe a 0.9. I thought it was. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and give it the sub 1, which I said in our chat I wasn't gonna do.
Life actively worse.
Yeah, because and I'll talk about it more in the Patreon segment. Because this book has now made me unreasonably suspicious and angry of small independent presses. Okay. And so I think that counts as making my life actively worse. Like, I know intellectually I shouldn't think that, and I will move out of that mindset, but right now, after finishing this, I'm viscerally upset about it, and so yeah, I'm gonna give it a 0.9. 0.9.
Wow. I feel like 0 to 0.5 is like Horcrux capable. Like it, wow. It makes your life worse, but also sucks out your soul and puts it into an object.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like right on with you. I was going to give it a 1. It was just insanely bad. And I mean, the only boost really was that it was hilariously bad. It was fun. It was kind of fun in a lot of ways. And talking about it was fun because it's so stupid. But yeah, bad book. I'm gonna give it a solid 1.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna give it the highest score then, because I'm not unreasonably mad at small presses. I think this is the just normal results of really. I get the impression that Betimes Books, I don't know the case. I should have looked into it more. Is like quite small, and it's non-profit. So that makes sense to me why something like this might be able to slip through. But yeah, I just very silly, stupid book. What did feel a little bit like a waste of time to have read it for me as well. I was just like, oh fuck. It had my attention in the first half, even though it was kind of boring and repetitive because there were just payoffs that I was waiting for, and then it just a whole lot of nothing at the end, a nothing burger. So I was gonna give it a 1.1.
Damn, yeah. That's a very close, very tight spread there, y'all.
Yeah,
good grouping.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. That's the Dark Manual by Colin O'Sullivan. Bad book.
And no one's talked about it for good reason, and so this is basically the official word on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
read Harry Potter instead of this book.
That's it. That's true. That's actually literally true.
It's better.
Yeah. So if you, I personally think the rabbit hole of crap goes deeper in this book. So we're going to talk about that on the Patreon segment after the jump, which you can hear if you subscribe to our Patreon, as I said, at patreon.com/spinecrackers. For as little as $2 a month, you get the full episodes, extra videos, extra discussion, Discord access, all that fun stuff. And Instagram and Twitter, we have those also.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for listening, everybody. We hope it was fun. We never aim to be downers here at the Spinecrackers podcast, but sometimes the world forces your hand.
In this case, or me.
And in this case, it was forced.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully you got a laugh or two. And thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.